is a Daily Beast columnist and a Fox News contributor. Rick Grenell is a former spokesperson for 4 U.S. ambassadors to the UN and knows quite a bit about how the media operate in this environment. So, Kirsten, what about it? I mean, what nobody is saying is that the president hasn't put out his own budget as he is required to do by law. He apparently got sidetracked by the sequester and says he needs another couple of months.
Yeah. Well, he says he will be proposing one. He did propose one last year, if that means anything.
Which got no votes in the Senate.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't, whether the president proposes something or not, doesn't mean we need to give Paul Ryan a pass on his plan. I think it deserves scrutiny, and it's been getting some scrutiny. And what Chuck Todd said is right. I think you can't demagogue Medicare during the entire campaign and then basically do the exact same thing that you were demagoguing. I think it raises serious questions about his budget.
What about the treatment that he's getting in the press?
Well, first of all, I think, somebody like Chuck Todd really doesn't understand the economy. He's a political reporter. And it's time what we do is separate political reporters from real journalists because they don't understand what's going on with the Ryan budget. We can't have a serious discussion about entitlements if we're truly going to have political reporters hogging up the front pages of what's going on. It's time that editors put the economists and those reporters, journalists who understand the economy on the front page.
Paul Krugman's an economist, and he didn't like it.
He's an opinion journalist, and I think that shoves him to the opinion side of reporting.
What happens, though, Kirsten? I mean, the fact is the Senate hasn't passed a budget in nearly 4 years. What happens in Washington? I mean, you worked on Capitol Hill. When you don't have a budget, what happens?
They do continuing resolutions, and they just keep doing these continuing resolutions, and they're not. The problem is they're not. You can keep funding the government. That's not the issue. The issue is there's no long-term plan. There's no
right, and there's no benchmark.
Yeah, and there's no vision. You have to be. You need the president coming out and laying out. Here's my long-term vision, and these are the budget that I'm going to lay out for us to get us to this point, and we don't have that.
It's
just
solutions have versus politics.
Right. So Paul Ryan lays out a budget, lays out his vision, and gets hammered for it in the media.
Again, I think I keep going back to the fact that he is trying to have a thoughtful discussion, and everybody just wants to play politics with the issue. The media, other politicians, we don't have the thoughtful, let's have a discussion about entitlements.
Well, I think we do need to have a discussion about entitlements, but I don't know how thoughtful this budget was. I mean, to me, I think it's both sides are sort of staking out their ideological positions that are never going to meet. So the Senate budget is not going to be anything that probably Republicans are going to support, and Paul Ryan's is not anything that Democrats are going to support. To me, that's not a serious conversation.
But not saying we're absolutely against raising the retirement age is not being serious.
But also,
about
it's not serious to put out a budget that the premise of it is you're going to revoke the Obamacare, the central accomplishment of President Obama from the first administration.
Which is also really expensive.
It's not, but it's never going to happen. I mean, Democrats will never support that.
But it's
bad
thoughtful.
Policy also.
I think, and well, it may not be bad policy because I think it's tackling a really expensive entitlement. And so I go back to, he is being thoughtful. It may be politically impractical, but it's thoughtful.
All right. I will tell you what I learned in journalism school. My minor, I guess, was sort of economics. Human wants are unlimited, but resources are. And somebody's got to figure a way to reconcile those two thoughts.
And it's not the government.
Well, yeah, nobody seems to want to. Rick Grenell, Kirsten Powers, thank you. Be sure to catch us this weekend on Fox News Watch with more from our excellent panel. We will cover the coverage of the week's top stories.